Hey there, everybody, and at long last, welcome back to ScienTEST, the show where an actual scientist, hey, that's me, I'm Forrest, unboxes, tests, and savagely reviews science kits intended for small children. This was my very first series, my very first attempt at YouTube, the first videos I ever posted to this channel. It's wild to look back at all that and see just how far this channel has come and all the crazy things we've gotten to do over the years. And that feeling is made all the more exciting when I remember that this video is not about a science kit for small children at all. In fact, it is the Curiosity Box made by Michael Stevens from Vsauce. Before we get started, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page about one very important thing. The Curiosity Box team did reach out to me and ask me to make this video about this science kit. However, I was very clear in our communications that I was going to be honest about this video and this review. They are sponsoring this video and they did send me this kit for free. However, they are not paying me to be nice to them, nor am I expected to come to any particular conclusions about their product. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about this kit as I open it and test it, and the fact that they agreed to that is the only reason why I agreed to make this video. As for what's in these boxes, here's what the company has to say. The Curiosity Box is the world's first subscription for thinkers. It includes premium science toys, experiments, and collectibles designed for curious adults and delivered to your door 4 times a year. Each box turns learning into an adventure, with premium science toys, hands-on experiments, and exclusive mind-expanding collectibles. They're perfect for all ages, whether you're a lifelong science lover or just curious. And every box is unique and packed with limited edition, non-repeatable items that you won't find anywhere else. Looking at the pricing here, these boxes are $75 a piece, or you can sign up for a yearly subscription, which includes 1 box every 3 months, so 4 total, and that comes to $280 a year, which means each of these boxes would then be $70, so you save 20 bucks that way. As for whether this box is worth $70 to $75, that remains to be seen. Let's open it up. I suppose getting this thing open is the first challenge, isn't it? Ooh. At the first glance inside, this box is packed with stuff. There's certainly a lot going on in here. So let's take it all apart and see all the different things that we got. Here we've got a card, which appears to have just details about what we can see in the box. And we've got this little magazine, Curiosity Magazine, which has some information about something, I'm sure. Okay, so it looks like this magazine is just the instruction manual for the kit, but it also includes a ton of interesting information about all the different principles and things you're about to be learning about. This is definitely a good start. After that, we've got this prism, which is awfully nice, and we've got a t-shirt. This is actually like a really nice, high-quality t-shirt, and including something like this, especially when it's branded from the company, is a huge plus for this kit. And it's not just because I'm like super into shirts or anything. A nice t-shirt from a YouTube merch store is gonna run you around 25 bucks. That's what the shirts in my merch store are priced at, and that's also the price point of most of the shirts in like the Game Grumps and Markiplier's merch store. So very high-end YouTubers and very, very low-end YouTubers are all charging around that price. With this kit being $75, this t-shirt is already a third of that value, 25 bucks right there, which means the threshold of this kit being worth it has just been brought down significantly, and we can judge the rest of this kit as a $50 value. With that in mind, let's see what else we have in here. Looks like we've got this History of Life Helix puzzle, a little book called Puzzle Me Twice, 70 simple puzzles almost everyone gets wrong, and some slide rule chopsticks. And on top of that, you get this cool little storage container or a house for your cats or children or whatever. Let's dive right in with the biggest part of this kit, which is this History of Life 328-piece Helix puzzle. Now I'm gonna be real with you. I'm probably not gonna solve this whole thing on screen right now, but I am interested to see what this thing actually looks like. And it looks like we've got some sort of it's a legend in here, and then the actual puzzle itself over there. Oh, look at that! You got Anomalocaris and Hallucigenia right up in there. You got Dimetrodon and Lystrosaurus. You got a little Quetzalcoatlus or whatever over here in a Okapi. Well, the gang's all here, aren't they? And if you look inside the magazine, they've got all sorts of little notes and factoids about each one of these creatures. This is an awesome little thing for new paleontology nerds. As for the puzzle itself, it's got this spirally base and then all of these pieces, a little sack. I feel like this is one of those things that somebody who likes Legos and whatnot would really enjoy, because it's just kind of like super peaceful to put together all the individual pieces and then all those individual pieces as well. Like you just kind of sit here and zone out, just building this little thing, making everything come together just ever so perfectly. For me, it's just really frustrating. I hate fiddly things, and I'm not gonna stop and read the instructions on this. I just want it to work. See, what am I doing wrong? It's connected. I'm on 3 pieces, and there's 1,000 more pieces, and I'm stuck on these 3. This can't be. This isn't fun. Get in it. Attach to it. Grab hold of it. Be part of it. Connect! Oh my glob, it just fell apart again. Okay, well, I'm sorry to say that the puzzle is impossible, so right away, this is a mark against the kit, I guess, because there's no way that I, myself, am just too stupid to... I haven't actually even read the instruction manual, hold on. Well, there's nothing in there about how to build this, so it's either an impossible task, or it's stupid enough for babies, and I just can't handle it. Oh great, now they're all out of order, and I don't know which one's the bottom anymore. Oh man. Okay, it's got little pegs. So let me see if the little pegs are doing peg things for peg reasons. Like, that has to be right? It can't be any more difficult than that. There's nothing that seems to slide. It should, I just don't want to force press it because I'm afraid I'm gonna break it. Okay, well, I got it to connect freaking perfectly in a way that isn't the right configuration. That the gap there, the separation, that's not how it's supposed to work. Get in the thing. Get in the thing. Hey, violence was effective. Usually the strategy that works best for me is like strategic wiggling, but it seems right now that just, that's doing it. Well, it doesn't even matter which one was the top or the bottom. I thought that this one was the top because it had a rounded edge, and that means that one of them must necessarily be the bottom. But no, they're all the same, and this is just a little cup. Just gonna keep punching these together because I'm a biologist and not an engineer. Ape together strong. Puzzle together strong. I feel like if I got like a bunch of these, I could do them all at once, like a 10-minute power hour situation. I can steal that from Jacksepticeye. That'd be cool. Right, well, there's the puzzle done. And don't ask me to turn it around or put it down or anything like that, because, like, that's gonna happen. So once you complete that super easy to build tower, you then assemble this puzzle from this lacy bag, and that's gonna make it look like that, which you can also then use as a pencil cup or whatever. Overall, I would expect somebody to pay, like, probably like 20 bucks for something like this on Amazon, or if you went to a museum, like 40. So this is doing a good job at helping to continue to reduce that threshold of making this kit worth it. If you're into puzzles and you want like a cool decorative thing to have around the house, because like most puzzles I would then take apart and put away, this one, you want this to be on display after a little while. If you want something that's like long-term physical value in your house, this is a good addition to this kit. It's not for me, it's not my vibe, but I don't expect everything in this kit to perfectly suit me or any person. I'm sure that for most other people who have good working brains, unlike myself, this would be pretty cool. Future Forrest here. My wife and I ended up finishing the puzzle later that night, and the base was a problem the entire time. Not only did the pieces simply not want to go together, but once we assembled enough of the puzzle to put it on the spiral, it just slid down and off of the bottom because there is no dedicated end piece to hold it in place. Also, we were regularly thrown off by these weird pieces with random chunks of random animals on them. These aren't actually part of the puzzle. I think they were just part of the board that the puzzle was cut out of, and they weren't supposed to be in the bag. But they gummed up our progress quite a few times. Next up, I'm going to take a look at this book, which is currently wrapped in plastic, so we're just going to crack that guy open like an SAT and see what's inside. I hope you get the answers wrong to every puzzle in this book. Reader, don't let me down. I'm being honest. The more puzzles you answer incorrectly, the more fun you will have. In the following pages are 70 of my favorite puzzles for which people invariably come to the wrong conclusions. When I first encountered these problems, I too fell into the traps that they set. My intuitions were shaky, my lines of thought easily misdirected, my logical sharpness embarrassingly blunt. Well, let's see if that is true. I'm just opening to a random page, and it has bemusing balls with a simple image that asks how many different colors of balls are there. Can you see that? Is that coming through on the camera? I mean, right off the rip, there's 3 colors of balls here, right? There's very clearly, very obviously, before my very eyes, 3 colors of balls here. There's red balls, blue balls, and green balls. But there's also red, blue, and green lines passing through these, and I notice that on top of the red balls, only the red lines are showing, and so with the other colors as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and bet that there's actually only 1 color of ball, and they're all gray or something, and that my brain's just interpreting the color that's in front of me as the color of the balls. That's probably what it is. But the answer to the question that they want is that there's 3 colors of ball. Let's see why my brain is wrong. Oh, of course, yes. they're actually all beige. This image, known as the confetti illusion, is probably the most extraordinary version of many similar optical illusions in which the neighborhood adjacent to a shape influences our perception of that shape's color. In this case, the clever combination of colored stripes gives the illusion of 3 different colors of ball. So this is one of those things where, like, being familiar with this kind of illusion definitely gives me some insight on what it's supposed to be, but the illusion is still absolutely there. And in my day-to-day life, this would always work on me. The only reason it didn't is because I am deliberately trying to think about balls. So it's not really fair for me to sit here and be like, oh, that was a boring illusion, because I already knew. Because at the end of the day, if I saw that just out in nature, I was just walking around, I would have assumed there were 3 colors of balls, and it would have been very difficult to convince me otherwise. Page 59, what the cluck? If a hen and a half lays an egg and a half in a day and a half, how many eggs do half a dozen hens lay in half a dozen days? So 1 1/2 hens lays 1 1/2 eggs in 1 1/2 days. And now we have 6 hens in 6 days. So 1 1/2 hens times 2 is 3 hens, which would then lay equally 3 eggs. And that's half of 6, so 2 sets of 2 hens laying 2 sets of 2 eggs is actually just 6 hens laying 6 eggs. So that's kind of a wash. The real question is the half a dozen days, because that's 6 days, but the 1 1/2 hens take 1 1/2 days to lay the 1 1/2 eggs. I'm trying to think of this. We got 6 hens here, and they're making 6 eggs. If I divide every other hen in half, that's fine, because every other egg is also in half. So at the end of the day, having 6 whole hens, no matter which ones are chopped, is still going to produce the same 6 eggs. So the days has to be the actual limiter. That has to be subdivided down by 1 1/2, the same way the chickens are, because that one matters. Because the chickens being subdivided and the eggs being subdivided just comes out to the same number of chickens, the same number of eggs. But if we're talking about the days being subdivided, 1.5 goes into 6 4 times. So we're just going to take the 6 times 4, and that's 2 dozen. I'm turning the page. The answer is 2 dozen eggs. Math is fun. Let's go for one more. Let's take a look at this page here. Sistery mystery. Imagine a country where there are slightly more girls than boys. Let's say the ratio is 51 to 49. So for every 100 randomly chosen people who are male or female, on average, 51 are female and 49 are male. Who has more sisters on average, girls or boys? In other words, on average, does each girl have more or fewer sisters than each boy? What? So if there are more females on average, then it would make sense to say that there are more sisters than brothers, but that's not really what they're asking. They're asking each individual person, are they more likely to have more sisters or brothers? And that's, how do you begin to know that? All I'm thinking about is hydrogen bonding. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm thinking about how, like, water molecules in a solid state, they're on average, each individual molecule is going to have 4 neighboring water molecules because they're all locked into hydrogen bonds in like a crystal structure. But if it's in a liquid form, then they're all rolling all over each other. You have Brownian motion and all sorts of stuff going on. And so on average, each molecule has 4.4 neighbors in a liquid state. And so I'm thinking, like, that's where my brain is right now, for whatever reason. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, then how many women are rolling around, bumping into each other? Are they solid or liquid? I don't know why my head is doing that, but like, just, I don't know how to ask the question that is being asked of me on this piece of paper. I'm turning the page. I'm giving up. The answer is neither. Of course, in this imaginary country, there are marginally more girls than boys, and this excess of girls leads to the intuitive, wrong answer that girls probably have more sisters than boys. There are more girls around, so more all-girl families. Think of all those sisters. In fact, however, the girls and boys have, on average, exactly the same number of sisters. The chance of any person having a sister is more likely than the chance that they have a brother. But in any family, these chances are equal for both boys and girls. Well, now I feel like my stupid was actually smart. I feel like the fact that I couldn't fathom how to answer that question was some sort of wonderful intuition that the question made no sense. Maybe I'm a genius, who knew? Statistical brilliance through general ineptitude, only at Valkai Labs. Okay, well this is far and away the best part of the whole box for me so far. I would expect to pay maybe like $5 to $10 for this book, unless I was in a museum, and then it would be 20. This adds great value to the whole kit. I would get a subscription service just for stuff like this. But we're not quite done yet, because we got these chopsticks, and we got this prism, and we should probably take a peek through this magazine. We're gonna start with the chopsticks, because I expect that they are just chopsticks, and they are just chopsticks. They are very cool chopsticks. They're beautiful chopsticks that have like measurements on them, and they look really nice, and they have a little stand that comes with them. That's charming, and they're metal. People like that. And you can see, if you look closely at them, who knows if this is focusing, that they have little markings on them, little demarcations. They are graduated chopsticks. They have all sorts of little marks of like inches and millimeters and stuff. Handy for calculating square roots, eating noodles, multiplying, handling sushi, determining cubes, consuming dumplings, and much more. I would be worried about damaging these if I were to use them and put them in the dishwasher or anything. I would be worried about the markings coming off, but also like, what am I measuring with chopsticks, you know? And they work. You're able to like pick stuff up and do stuff with them. They work just like chopsticks, on account of the fact that they are chopsticks. These are just a nice little gift. They're a nice little thing. They don't really teach you anything besides what they are, I suppose. But they add some value to the box. If this is a thing that you're into, if you're just a big old nerd and you like big old nerd stuff, then this is something kind of charming that you now got out of this box. I would expect to pay maybe like $5 to $15 for these, maybe on a science shop store website type thing, and in a museum like 50. I'm gonna check the book really quick. Like, do they have like a whole thing about these chopsticks, or are they just kind of there? Okay, so they do have some like interesting information, like a history of slide rules, and also a detailed page on how to use these chopsticks. So that's pretty cool. I doubt very seriously that these would be anything more than a novelty for anybody, but if you're like a pilot or a mathematician or an engineer or somebody who uses these kinds of calculating tools a lot, this would probably be something just neat that you would have around, that you would kind of like show up. My wedding ring is DNA, and I like showing that to people to tell them that I'm super into biology. It's something that warms my heart. So I bet something like this would probably be that kind of thing for somebody that's like a mathist. Looking through this magazine a little bit further, they have like a whole thing here at the beginning on the evolution of helices, which is pretty neat, and that goes in line with the whole puzzle thing. They've also got this page all about the optical illusion on the t-shirt. That's nice. They say it's called their Benzold Stroop shirt, named after the two different optical illusions present in the patterning. The Benzold effect is one that we're already familiar with. A color appears to change hue depending on the colors next to it. On our shirt, the letters blue, green, and red are all the same color. They just look like they're colored differently because of the colored line. We saw this with the balls. And then the Stroop effect is the delay in your reactions when processing incongruent stimuli. The word red is written in blue and the word green is written in red, and that's actually a lot of fun to think about. Well, you're definitely gonna catch me wearing this in a video sometime, that's for sure. There really is a lot of information in this book about the specific things that you got in this kit, and it's presented in a really easy to digest and genuinely fun to read way. This is a good value. This book alone actually is a pretty solid value in the context of this kit. And last but not least, we've got this prism, which is just a prism, and they've got a couple of pages in the book about prisms and what prisms are and how prisms work, but it is just a prism. There's no activity to do with this. You have a prism now. This prism is made of K9 optical borosilicate glass, a leaded crystal glass with a high refractive index and excellent clarity. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it is a prism, and I like that about it. I don't begrudge this being a prism. It's kind of just here. It doesn't really go with anything else in the kit, but I guess, you know, everything in the kit is its own unique thing, so I'm not gonna be grumpy about the prism. I just don't understand. It is just a prism. But hey, the puzzle is just a puzzle, and the book is just a book, and I'm just an idiot, so who am I to judge? Overall, I'm a little bit disappointed by how few activities there were in this kit. There was only really one thing to do, and it was just a puzzle, and then everything else was either reading things or just having things. And don't get me wrong, I like reading things, and having things is very nice, but It's not exactly what I think of whenever I conjure up an image of a science kit. That said, the information in this booklet and the kind of things that you can learn from all of these tools and toys is pretty good, and the value and quality of all of these products contained within this kit far outseed the cost of the kit itself. So it is definitely worth the money, as long as you're into this sort of more slow and cerebral kind of learning that this kit provides. And to be completely fair, the marketing copy that CuriosityBox sent me did say that this is a science kit for adults. So if you are an adult science lover who has time to sit down with a book of riddles, or learn a little bit about the history of prisms, or figure out how the heck to use a slide ruler, this is an amazing value. As for me, this kit is definitely different than what I was expecting, but I'm not like bummed about it. I'm still gonna have fun with all this stuff, it's just not the kind of fun that I wanna have on camera. Do you wanna sit here and watch me put together a puzzle or read a book and then think about what's in that book? It would be a terrible video, but it's gonna be a great evening. If all this stuff sounds like fun to you, you can get your own Curiosity Box by going to curiositybox.com/forrestvalkai, using the link in the description, or scanning the QR code on the screen. The box that I just opened is their summer box, which is going to be available until early September, which is in just a couple of days. So if you want this box that you just saw, you need to get it right now. And when you do, make sure to use the promo code FORREST25 at checkout to get 25% off your first box. Or don't. Pay more if you want to. I don't care. I'm not a cop. Just make sure you use my link. I realize this is somewhat unorthodox for this kind of video, but more than anything, I'd just like to thank CuriosityBox for giving me the opportunity and the impetus to revisit this series. As I said at the beginning, these particular videos were the first things that I ever did on this channel, and looking back at those videos while getting ready for this one really made me smile. Seeing all the slow, choppy editing and the way too much lighting and the out-of-sync audio and the move from my dining room to this studio space, it just all reminded me of working at a time when I recorded and edited all of my videos on my cell phone. This is how I started this channel. And seeing everything from then to now, it just fills me with a lot of humility and a lot of joy. I couldn't have asked for a better trip down memory lane. So thank you so much to all of my patrons on Patreon, all my channel members here on YouTube, all of my subscribers, and every single one of my viewers for making this channel what it is. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more episodes of ScienTEST. I think I've still got some children's science kits laying around here somewhere, and I would be more than happy to buy a few more for this series. And with that, I'm Forrest Valkai. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, and all the other stuff you do here on YouTube. Please exit through the gift shop, pick up one of these sweet t-shirts. Have an awesome rest of your day, and never stop learning. Bye-bye!